Even with the significant snowfall we're getting now this year in Montana, early forecasts already are saying we're going to have above average fire potential this summer. That's a fire prediction I didn't like to hear. As you mentioned in your testimony, we need to ensure that we're not just ready for catastrophic hurricanes, but also for other natural disasters in Montana. Again, our concerns wildfire and how to prepare best for the upcoming season. FEMA declared 8 fire management assistant grants for wildfires in Montana last year. I understand that with these grants, there's a fire cost threshold that must be reached before eligible for reimbursement. But in a state like Montana, where we can have thousands of wildfires that are put out before they contribute to a major disaster, these smaller costs still add up and deplete state and local funds. Furthermore, clear guidance for frontier counties and their eligibility for fire management assistance grants is sometimes lacking. And I agree with your plan of making emergency response federally supported, state managed, and locally executed. A little breath of federalism is always refreshing here in these massive bureaucracies in Washington, D.C. Moving forward, my question is, how can FEMA and states like Montana with rural communities better work together to utilize federal grant programs to mitigate the damage done by wildfires?
So, Senator, excellent question. I've had very spirited conversations with Governor Bullock on going forward, and I understand that your state has been totally ravaged by almost like a death by 1,000 cuts when it comes to the number of fires. The problem is that how do you declare fire season? And, you know, if I declare fire season, then do I have to declare severe weather season for another state? And it's difficult. And it's my understanding in the omnibus that was recently passed that there are some legislative fixes with Department of Interior and Agriculture to help offset some of the costs that I can't cover through the FMAG program. But I think that what we're having to do inside FEMA is reset the bar and the intent of the FMAG program internally and with our regions to say the purpose of this grant funding is to prevent a fire from becoming a major disaster declaration. And we have to increase the dialogue that we have with our state partners to make sure that, you know, we're on top of it and helping to do all we can to suppress that fire before it gets way out of hand. But the issue at hand is whether, you know, we look at each fire as an individual fire. I don't know if I actually have the authority to look at the multitude of fires and declare one season, or because you get into this complexity about incident period. And was it the same drought that's causing, you know, or was it the same weather system that caused all of the flooding, for example? Mm-hmm. Do we declare that whole period or incident as one disaster? And so with the fires, it's something that we've got to work through, and I'd be happy to continue the dialogue, but it's also continuing the dialogue on where FEMA begins and ends, where DOI and Department of Agriculture also support as well.